Good afternoon, everybody. Starseed Intergalactic Council of Three at your service with a very warm welcome from Warwick, England on the 13th of July, and to my dearest friend Dawn.
Hi everyone.
Who's come to join us today. And our theme for today is going to be synchronicity and the importance of synchronicity on our soul development and our soul expansion journey. And we thought we would start with an oracle card, and Dawn selected Work Your Light. So I'll just take my glasses off and come back into 3D for a moment. Dawny Dawn, lovely. So waving hello to Laurie, Bree, Alicia, and all of our lovely soul brothers and sisters that came and have joined us in the past. And it's fun to be back. Oh, that was the one.
Yeah, jumped out.
Mintarken.
Longing for home, belonging, the original light workers.
There you go.
That's the card.
Absolutely beautiful. And in a minute, I'll find it.
It's a mermaid.
Do you know what, we did this the last time, didn't we? All laughed furiously. Mintarken.
Trying to find it. Yeah. She looks like she's sitting on ice.
118.
In the Antarctic, I guess.
I guess so. It's always one of the last ones. Right. Mintarken, longing for home, belonging, the original light workers. Mintarkens are a small group who originated on a planet in the constellation Orion. They were the first star beings to travel to Earth and believed to be the original light workers. The Mintarken's home planet is thought to have been a water world, with water so pure that you could see through it for miles. For this reason, Mintarkens feel most at peace and are at home when in or around crystal clear water. They are here to teach us to see the potential in everything and the light in all beings. Many Mintarkens have the odd longing for home and struggle with feeling like they don't belong. It is thought that this is due to their home planet no longer being in existence. If you pull this card, it could mean that you are a Mintarken or are longing for a sense of belonging, and root chakra healing is necessary for you to feel secure and safe. Big key themes in our world. Perhaps you feel this longing to find home without knowing where that is. Perhaps you've been moving around a lot and yearn for a place on Earth to call your own. If so, you're being called to connect with Mother Earth and create it for yourself now. To choose where you feel most at home and create it, rather than waiting for the feeling of belonging to come. And the Work Your Light transmission. I allow myself to be truly here and at home on this planet. I release any grief around not belonging or feeling held and call in the perfect home.
Oh,
beautiful.
Amazing.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Brilliant.
And that's for little Yasmin, who always pulls this card because she is definitely one of those. Although she's mastered not feeling the grief.
Yeah.
Just feeling totally at ease on the earth, and frankly she's making the most. She is making hay and really is mastering being here, even though she's not from here. Fantastic. Yeah. So Dawn and I have been chatting for forever about synchronicity, and we keep saying, well, it's no such thing, it's no coincidence that X happens and Y happens. And the fact that we feel strongly that the whole process of our vibration being mirrored back to us is happening in a heartbeat, in a blink of an eye, not now maybe taking a week or two or something for it to happen, but almost instantaneous.
Yeah, definitely instantaneous.
And you've had a lovely experience of that in the positive recently.
Oh,
with your iPad.
With the iPad thing, yeah. So this happened yesterday. I was feeling quite anxious about like stuff going on in my house, just like things that I needed to sort out. I often find it overwhelming. So like I understand like part of my learning is that things are going to go wrong in the house, and let it go instead of constant worrying and trying to problem solve and sort it out immediately. So I managed to let it go. Made a phone call to you, Claire, and then another friend, and like felt calm. And then while I was on the second call, I heard my phone ping a message from work saying I'd won an iPad. And the lady I was talking to was talking about she nearly got scammed by a bank the day before, and then into my message box comes, "Hiya, you have won an iPad." I'm like, oh my God, is this a scam? But no, it really was my boss. And so off I went to work. I'd been entered into a draw that I didn't even know that I was in, and won an iPad. So there's how that energy turned around very quickly. And also, most interestingly, just a few weeks ago, I'd gone to bed holding these two crystals, woke up in the morning, got out of bed, one with the point fell on my very old iPad that doesn't update anymore, hasn't got any storage left, smashed the screen. So I was still using this iPad because it was going to cost like quite a lot to mend, and I thought, no, I'll save it, put it towards another one some other time. And so there we go.
New iPad.
Brand new, latest iPad. I couldn't believe it. I absolutely couldn't believe it. I went straight to work to pick it up. Yes. So.
And what I loved when Dawn was telling me that story was that she said she continually used the old iPad, even though the screen was shattered. But it was workable, it was functional, but every time you swiped it, you got a splinter of glass in your finger.
Yeah, a little shard of glass, yeah. So, no, it's okay.
We'll be
fingers now, yeah.
We'll be all right, we'll get it sorted.
Yeah.
And then because you let go and just allowed yourself that you would use it
immediately,
and in time you'd get a new one, and then
with that particular incident, like at the time I don't know, I was stressed about something else. Maybe it was my fence. Like we'll talk about this in a minute, channeling my anxiety into something that's going on around me or my physical health. But with this, as soon I looked down and I laughed. Yeah. Because a crystal did it, and somehow I knew that like something more was going to come from it, because otherwise the crystal wouldn't have. It was a really heavy crystal. I don't know how it couldn't have not smashed it. But
fantastic.
Well, it only happened like yesterday. I still like,
feeling
a bit amazed. Yeah.
And I was telling Dawn that I was walking along the canal towpath not that long ago with the dog, and toward me came shambling this young man looking very dishevelled. Had a can of beer in his hand open, he was swigging it, he was carrying a carrier bag full of, I can only presume, more beer cans. And I went into this whole sort of internal dialogue of, I'll be clearing up those empty beer cans on my next dog walk, because I pick up loads of beer cans on the dog walk and put them in the rubbish bin. So I was making some judgments, and they weren't nice comments, and I knew I was doing it, and I thought, well, you shouldn't be doing this, Clary. And the next minute, I'm stepping over the mooring rope of a canal barge that's parked on side. And my first foot, I'm very careful, because this guy's now approaching. So I pick up my foot and take it over the mooring line. But the second foot, I completely forget about. I must have been a one-legged alien in the past. And I tripped over the bloody mooring line with my second foot, and I sprawled at this man's feet. I was literally flat on my face in the dirt at this young man's feet. And I thought, well, that'll learn you, Clary. That'll learn you. You had those low-dimensional thoughts, 3D thoughts, and the universe is not going to allow you to get away with that. And he was so kind, and he bent down. I was so mortified and embarrassed. And I came up on one knee. I couldn't get up any higher because my knee was killing me. And he said, "Are you all right? Are you all right? Oh dear, oh dear. Can I help?" And I went, no, fine. Typical. We'll be fine. So that showed me. And then yesterday I was waiting online for a reading with an Australian medium. I booked and paid for it. I was very excited. I've been umming and ahhing about this reading for about 4 months, and I felt finally the time had come. And I booked the reading, and it was for 8 o'clock in the morning GMT, so I'm ready at 8, and then nothing happens, and I think, oh, we're in daylight saving time. So actually my 8 o'clock reading GMT is 9 o'clock in the morning BST. So I gather myself, do some chores, do the hoovering, come back, and then I'm sitting there at 9 o'clock, nothing is happening. I sit there till 9:30 and nothing's happening. I go, it's really tiresome. I've paid 54 quid for this and nothing's happening. But while I'm waiting, an email comes through, and it's from a gentleman that I hold in very high esteem, an author. He has lots to do with energy work, and he'd written me a very, very polite and considered lengthy email in which he'd invited me for a speaking slot at a
Brilliant.
conference that he's thinking of putting together with 2 colleagues. And I thought, well, that's interesting. So I'm allowing this reading with a psychic to not happen. I'm not getting stressed. I'm not being cross. I'm just thinking, well, this is interesting. You know, it's not happening. Reason why it's not happening. And then this email comes and I'm thinking, well, that's a step up, isn't it? And whether it comes to pass or not, I don't know, and I don't care. It was just the thought that this man felt I could offer something and extended the invitation.
And interestingly too, Claire, you said that you dreamt about your reading.
Oh God,
the night
I did.
Before,
I
so
did.
you got the reading.
I
in
sort of
your dream,
got the reading.
didn't you?
It wasn't a great outcome either. I'm glad I was spared it, because in my dream I'd asked the medium for advice on this book writing project. And she told me in my dream that I'd pissed off too many people in past lives, and all of them were now withholding their support from me, and I wasn't going to get the book written at all. And I woke up feeling really hacked off.
Yeah.
I go, well, that's me told. And then the reading didn't happen anyway, but I got a lovely invitation, which may or may not come to pass, but it doesn't matter.
So our dreams seem to be fitting into this
Even then.
synchronicity more and more and more.
Yeah.
Like the night before, I don't really dream very often, but I'd gone back to sleep. I had the most bizarre dream about my friend. I won't go into it, but it was just like, wow, what's all that about? Other than I was being told off by somebody in it, and I'm like, maybe I'm being a bit too forthright. So I rang my friend just to make sure she was all right, make sure she was okay, really. And then she's like, oh, why are you ringing me? Because I was going to ring you shortly. And then I said, oh, well, because I've had a dream. And I explained my dream to her, and it exactly fitted in with what she'd been going through the last 3 days. And that morning, she'd made a visit to someone to kind of clear what was going on.
Blimey.
So the message from my dream that she took was absolutely telling her that she was on the right track. And we also realised that it was clearing some very old karmic stuff for us both when we were in Turkey, to do with being trapped priestesses and to do with sexuality.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
So really ingrained stuff.
We've been abused. Yeah. So it was like, wow, that was like, we were both a bit, like about the iPad, and it was like, wow, this is like,
this is all coming on.
This is major.
Yeah.
And also, I was saying to Claire earlier, last week I went to see an osteopath, a new one, because mine's not working at the minute, for some fascia release. I've got tightness all the way down my left side, and I know there's a bigger picture to everything, but physically I needed some help releasing it. I didn't know he was doing fascia release actually, but I understand it's perfectly what I needed. I wanted to just like shove my hip back in, shove my shoulder back, we're all right. But no, we need everything putting into alignment. Yeah. And I was feeling very aligned that day, knowing that it was the right thing to do. And he was amazing, best thing since sliced bread, as we say here in the UK. Brilliant. Went back this week, something put me in a bad mood. Well, obviously I put myself in it, not something. My vibration was low. I went there, I could feel this prickliness coming off me. Totally different experience. He didn't hardly talk. My mind was going, he doesn't know what he's doing. He's like, and oh my God, and totally different experience. But I absolutely knew it was my vibration.
Being mirrored back.
It was just being mirrored back. So just absolutely showing me, just quickly. I know we've got to experience like the lows and the heavy energy to release it. However, when you're interacting with people, just raise it a bit again. And keep that work separate. Do it when you're alone or when someone's holding space for you to do it, not with some random stranger. That could obviously feel it.
Take it out on them.
Yeah, I don't think he knew. I wasn't even saying anything to him, but I just knew like part of him
was receptive
like,
to that.
Oh God, I'm not going to interact with that other than just like, do the fascia.
Do the fascia and get out of there. Yeah. And then I was saying to Dawn the other thing, with all of these transmissions, I knew after a lot of frustration that I needed a microphone. And so I looked online and I bought a blue Snowball, really nice microphone for 50 quid. And I was so excited, plugged it in, and it didn't work. And I thought, I'm being stupid. And I went online and I got a friend in who's really into all of this. And he picked up my 50 quid blue snowball thing. And he went, oh dear. And I said, what? And he went, it's a fake. I went, how do you know that? He said, it's too light, it's too plasticky. Oh, and look, it hasn't got an on-off switch. Oh, and it hasn't got a modulator. He said, I've got one of these and it's cost me 100 quid. How much was yours? Where did you get it from? I said, it was on the bloody line for 50. And he said, oh dear, you've been faked. So my normal response would have been rage, because it'd taken so much for me to get to the point to invest in one. I'd done a bloody day's worth of research on which one should I get. I'd asked advice.
And now look,
exactly. And I thought I was doing exactly the right thing that I was being asked to do. And then the bloody thing was a fake, and I was about to go, and I thought, do you know what? It's fine. It's fine. Let's learn how to use something else. So Dawn and I, we've had an interesting hour, haven't we? Trying to record Zoom on our phone. Thank you, Lucia. Still didn't manage to do it. Trying to do 1,001 different things. Then my battery ran flat. And we thought, no, we'll just keep going. We'll just quietly plod on through and see what we come up with at the end. And I had the same approach to that lovely microphone, and I sent an email to Amazon, and they'd refunded my money within 3 minutes of the phone call. I got returns label to send it back, a very apologetic email saying, we're so sorry, please help us to identify, the scam in this. And I thought, oh, well, that's nice, isn't it? That's no big deal.
Because you let go of being annoyed.
Because I let go of being annoyed, taking it personally,
easily,
and it got sorted really easy. Everyone then came in to help. So I think my sort of interpretation of that is that 3D life is still going to happen around us. It's all opportunities for us to hold a high vibration. If for me personally speaking, if I drop my vibration, I can be.
It's still okay.
It's okay, but I can expect to fall flat on my face.
Literally,
scrabbling in the dust and hurt my knee, because it is that quick. And I think the universe is saying to me, we haven't got time to mess around. You've got to do this work. You've got to keep it up there. Don't worry if you falter every now and again. Have a laugh. Doesn't matter. People get scammed and you'll fall flat on your face, but just pick yourself up, know what you did, put those corrections in place. Which reminds me,
auto-accommodating
and auto-correcting. Dawn was able to identify an entrenched behaviour of mine where, well, you explain it, because if we've got enough battery power.
So a friend of mine sent me a link saying she found it helpful. Have a look, so I did, and it's definitely rang a bell. I know I've moved a bit, I have moved forward with this, but so auto-accommodating, the example she gave that was hers, she was at the hairdresser's waiting in line to have her hair washed, came to her turn, they put a conditioner in, and she automatically said, oh, there's a line, let me move somewhere else while this is doing, and they said, oh, no, it's fine. So this is about us, like, unconsciously accommodating other people before ourselves. And then I've identified further than that is like auto-correcting as well. So it's like I want to correct everything around me. It used to be people. Hopefully I don't do that so much anymore. But now it's everything in my vicinity. Oh, this fence isn't quite right. Oh, there's some damp on the floor. Oh, I've got a rash on my arm. I need to correct everything instead of letting it take its natural course. Now there's a bit more to that. What is it? I can't quite remember.
Well, what's come to me as you said that, which I don't think came up in our conversation before, was about perfection.
Yes.
And it reminded me of the Colour Mirrors theme, which runs all the way through Colour Mirrors, Melissa Jolly, which is where we see imperfection, stand by, because loads more imperfection will come our way.
That's it, and that's what happens.
So when we start making judgments that something is bad, wrong, not right, do you remember you thought you'd maybe been sold dud new fence panels, and that was, you'd been scammed, and that was that sort of sense of injustice that we all get and the unfairness of it all. I'm trying my best, and then you send me this, when we do not allow things to be perfect as they are, and take a step back and just allow things to unfold until we're given the right guidance, or we just feel that inner knowing, well, actually, if I have got this, it might be worth getting a plumber in. If the damp's coming up around the sink, perhaps I've got a small leak, so I'll get someone in to have a look, but I won't need to go climbing the walls with anxiety.
I've got it. Hypervigilance.
Hypervigilance.
It leaves us in a state of hypervigilance,
Yeah.
and I realise that's what I've been like most of my life.
Yeah. And exhausted.
My body's always scanning for like things that aren't right. And obviously it goes back to childhood, because for whatever reason you might have had critical parents, you might have had abusive parents. It doesn't matter. If you felt like you needed to accommodate them, like be quiet, don't make a fuss, you know, the list goes on and on and on.
It does.
And so now, I realise, God, I am just hypervigilant all the time, looking out for things that are wrong, because it's my job to put them right. And that was unconscious.
Yeah, that was really deep.
Now, I can try and check myself.
Well, you can recognise you're going potentially into that pattern, and then consciously choose not to put in some sort of breathing space that allows you to come back and look at that in a slightly different way.
Yeah, my ears are ringing
popping
like,
again.
Ringing
we
like
might get
crazy. Yeah.
So, I don't know I mean, there's so much that we can talk about, and we do swap these stories pretty much on a weekly basis, don't we?
Yeah,
and it is such fun, as long as we keep a light-hearted view of it.
Right.
And I know some stuff is heavy, and there is some real suffering going on out there, and just know that we're all here supporting each other on this journey. And for some of us it'll be falling flat on our faces on a canal towpath, you know, at the feet of the man that we judged harshly. For others it will be something far more distressing, and I appreciate all of that we are going through this life experience to different degrees and different levels and of intensity. But if we can all hold on to some really good, solid beliefs and philosophies that this is all okay, that we will find our way through, that we've got each other to support ourselves, to reach out if we're struggling. We don't have to do it on our own. Far from it. I think life from this moment on is ever increasingly about collaboration, not about competition or isolation. Yeah. And that might break the habit of a lifetime to reach out and say, do you know, I'm really struggling with this. Yeah. But you know, we still do it.
And it can easily shift if you if you're reaching out to a person. I'm going to say the right person, because that's how I feel. Like, I'm discerning now, if that's the right word, over who I reach out to, because I realise that some people, maybe they're more on a 3D level and practically trying to tell me, oh, you can do this, you can do that. It just sends me into more confusion and anxiety. Whereas if I reach out to someone like yourself, and that helps me to see it from a higher perspective, then I can feel the anxiety levels just dropping. Yeah. And then it's okay. I can
and that's the other thing.
Carry on and not stay there stuck in the anxiety. That's my aim now, to okay, this is always going to feel like this. And this is what you were saying earlier, the anxiety, if we can channel it in a way that's useful, so it might be fixing things in the house or whatever, rather than just constantly holding it. Yeah, it's like I said, it's like a discharge,
stuck,
like it's probably stuck down this left side of my body. But it's starting to shift now.
I mean, I think certainly for the empaths and the sensitives, we're going to feel not only our personal anxiety from clearing our own karmic stuff, but we're going to feel the collective, and that's going to keep coming. I broke the bad news to Dawn that I did feel that you're going to be feeling anxious for some time yet, because you pick up on the collective anxiety very, very keenly, and that therefore it might be useful to channel that into something over which you can transmute it and transform it into something positive.
And that was helpful, you saying that.
Because we're discharging it, not holding it.
Yeah, in whatever way.
In whatever way
might be
suits
just
us.
Lying on my bed listening to some mantras, but
I might be eating chocolate Brazil nuts by the packet, £2 a packet, not cheap, not a cheap nibble. But you only get about 10. Believe me, I've counted them over and over again. But we have to do something, because there is a lot of anxiousness out there. Yeah. Because the world is a really barkingly strange place right now, isn't it?
It is.
But as long as we can have these moments and share with you and join with you, and we'll be all right. We will be all right. All the astrology says we are exactly where we're meant to be. We're on track. The unpicking is happening. The rebuilding will happen in time, and just ride the wave. Detach, as Pam Gregory says, detach from the drama as much as we can. Walk barefoot, keep grounded, keep our centre, drink plenty of water, eat lots of chocolate Brazil nuts.
Special swirly
with my
stick
Granda,
in the water.
exactly, my lovely Granda stick, and we'll get through it. We will get through it, and there will be a brighter world at the other side. I know it. So I think before the phone runs out, because we were on low battery earlier on, I think we'll call that to a close. And thank you, Dawn, for joining me and waving to all of the IGC of 3ers out there. Wishing you a very, very, very joyful period of time until we get back together again. Much love to you all. May the force be with you. God bless.